Shalom, I am Rebekah Jehovah from Teshuvah Ministries, and welcome again to my summer series, my 2021 summer series, Flat Earth Delusion, Flat Earth Deception. One of the two. I don't know what I'm going to finally name it in the end, but basically the lie of flat earth. Welcome to my summer series. This is number 4 in probably a 12 or 14 part series, so be sure and watch all of them to get a total understanding about how Teshuvah Ministries is looking at this. So today we are going to look at critical thinking, science, both pseudoscience, like stupid science, like science that doesn't make any sense, and true science. And we're also going to look at fairy tales, what constitutes a fairy tale, okay? So I cannot believe that we're going to have some videos about flat earth on our YouTube channel. But that said, even though I think it is so stupid and the dumbest thing I've ever heard, there are people who actually believe this, and perhaps it's you. And if you're on the verge of like looking into it, if you're kind of being hornswoggled into looking at it, then I'm hoping to kind of step between you and the cliff. I want to help to put an end to this so that you never ever look back at this and you just go forward knowing the truth, and that you feel permission to say goodbye to those people and those swindlers who are trying to sell you this lie of flat earth. So my girls grew up on Jonathan Park radio theater series. So it's a radio show for kids and it's theater, so it's super engaging, right? I think it's Vision Forum that does Jonathan Park series. So it was a great way to kill a ton of time when we were driving and on long road trips with the girls. So they put their earbuds in or put their headphones on and listen to these stories, and they would be busy for absolutely hours as they, in that world, they would journey around the world, and in their mind's eye they would learn about Yah's creation and how foolish the evolution theory is. So I owe a lot to Jonathan Park for teaching my girls about creation versus evolution. That show has influenced them tremendously, even to this day, and they're young adults now. After listening to hundreds and hundreds of hours of Jonathan and Jesse and the creation response team unravel evolution's claims on Yah's creation, my girls are super well versed in the creation versus evolution debate. That show helped them to think critically about the lie of evolution and then to see the truth of creation, stuff that they can actually see with their own eyes. The show helped my girls look at YHVH Elohim's workmanship like King Solomon did, and now they better understand the Creator because of what they have learned about His creation through this radio series. So whenever someone tries to pull the evolution theory on them, they are well grounded in rejecting it as false and are not shaken away from the truth of creation. This is a beautiful thing, and for that I am so thankful. I'm so thankful for the Jonathan Park series and helping my girls do this. So let's talk about critical thinking for a second. So as we teach our children to critically look at what the scripture says about what truth is and what truth is not, who our Elohim is and who our Elohim is not, what sin is and what sin is not, what repentance and obedience looks like, we also must teach our children how to critically think when they look at Yah's creation, the world around them. So of course we want to look at creation with wonder, but we also want to look at creation with critical thought. We must teach our children, to see it with wisdom and understanding and knowledge. The 3 things that the Ruach HaKodesh is here to give us, right? And who she actually is. So knowledge is that there's a way that things work, okay? Knowledge by definition would be gaining information about the way something is, how it works. If we don't get the knowledge and we don't get understanding and we don't get wisdom, then our children will end up becoming fools and worshiping the creation and not the Creator. Or they will buy into some pretty wicked nonsense like evolution and the flat earth. Like Solomon, we must seek wisdom and knowledge and understanding so that we can stand during the delusions of the end of the age. But as it is described in Romans 1:20-26, people are continuing once again to exchange the truth about his creation for a lie. So Romans says 1:20-26 says, "For since the creation of the world, Elohim's invisible qualities, his eternal power and divine nature have been clearly seen, being understood from his workmanship," right? "So that men are without, and women are without excuse." And then there's a little bit more in there, and it says, "They became futile in their thinking and darkened in their foolish hearts. Although they claimed to be wise, they became fools. They exchanged the truth of Elohim for a lie." They exchanged the truth of what Elohim made for a lie about what he made. Evolution, flat earth. As part of the bride of Yeshua and the body of Messiah, we must praise Jehovah for his workmanship. That word is lovely. It shows up in different places in the scriptures talking about Jehovah's workmanship, his workmanship. That's why I'm doing this. The workmanship being that he is the builder, the maker, the craftsman that has built all these things. So his workmanship should be seen and praised by us. But if we have no knowledge of, and don't seek out the things that he has concealed, as in the way things work, we're supposed to seek them out and find out these wonderful, intricate things about how he made things to work. Then the praise will just flow up from us, and we'll just go, wow, what an amazing creator you are, to how everything just flows together and works so well together, right? If you look at the flat earth model, nothing works together. Going back, as part of the bride of Yeshua HaMoshiach and part of the body of Messiah, we must be able to praise Jehovah for his workmanship, right? But if you don't really understand what he created, how can you praise him appropriately, right? As an example, when I create something and Isaac just sees what I created and doesn't know how it was created and the work that was put into it, if he does give me some praise for what I've made, it's okay, but it's not as grand as if he really understood the processes by which I went through to create it and all the work it was and all the knowledge that I had to have in order to do that. When he begins to understand all the work that I've done in order to create like a video like this or whatnot, and then he praises me for it, wow, that feels so much deeper and grander to me. It's much more of a praise for me than just, oh, hey, that was cool, I like the depth of the knowing what I've been through and then appreciating how much it took to get there. And so I feel like it's the same thing with Jehovah, that we should be, have some understanding, have some knowledge about what he's made and how he's made it and how things work, so that we can give him appropriate praise, deep praise, not surface, oh, that's pretty, thanks for that, but wow, it's incredible how you made all those things work together, right? I want you to be rest assured that he has created all that we see from nothing. He created all the systems and processes needed in order for this planet and its inhabitants to live and thrive and work together in that perfect world that he had in mind when he began creation. So praise Jehovah Elohim, hallelujah, for his creation. All right, so now we're going to start getting into some details. I know I've been staying pretty general, but we're going to start diving into some details. So I want to talk for a little bit about science, ad hoc pseudoscience as well as legit science. So A biochemist and systems analyst and theologian on the Messianic Evangelicals website writes, one thing that I have noticed about the so-called scientists from the flat earth community is that their science is ad hoc, with no unified system of thought. Instead, they take particular phenomenon like earth curvature and treat them as isolated studies. The result is a patchwork quilt of pseudoscience, which when brought together as a whole consists of mismatching jigsaw puzzle pieces. They simply don't fit together. Bingo! This is proof enough in my mind. Scientific jigsaw puzzle pieces that don't fit together is chaos, which is not the way of Jehovah, okay? Elohim creates order out of chaos. True science reveals his amazingly orderly system. You don't have to be a scientist to know that everything in nature works together very seamlessly. So a question for flat earthers who call themselves believers. If flat earth, ad hoc so-called science, can't get anything more together than puzzle pieces that don't fit to make a perfect picture, which they do, but the puzzle pieces of flat earth science, which isn't real science, it doesn't fit, why would you keep entertaining the idea at all? This is ad hoc science, this is not legit, not using legit science, this is just stupidity. Then you should just file it away in the burn pile as you do with all the other things that are wrong, such as Christmas and Easter and Sunday worship and morning to morning day and equinox calendars and pork, and the list could go on and on and on. That's where this belongs. It belongs in the burn pile, okay? Because it's not using correct science, it's not using true science. It's causing chaos. And like many people I have read, many people who are fully against this, believers who are against this, mention and talk about how nothing adds up and it's puzzle pieces that don't fit. All right, when you look at the science behind the ad hoc science behind flat earth, and then you look at the science behind the globe and the sphere, everything works here. It works perfectly. This does not. This is chaos making. This is perfection. This is Jehovah's creation. This is the evil one's creation in somebody's head. So legit science. The definition of science is, around the world, the definition of science is the systematic study of the structure and behavior of the physical and natural world through observation and experiment. Okay? The Khan Academy describes the scientific method like this. Quote, the scientific method has 5 basic steps plus 1 feedback step. Number 1, you make an observation. Oh! Number 2, you ask a question. Number 3, you form a hypothesis or a testable explanation. Number 4, you make a prediction based on the hypothesis. Number 5, you test the prediction. Number 6, you use the results to make a new hypothesis or prediction. So the scientific method is used in all sciences. They use the same core approach to find answers that are logical and supported by evidence, end quote from Khan Academy. You can just go study this for yourself, but an intense amount of research by thousands of people over the millennia have been done on how our planet works. We have a ton of evidence for a spherical Earth, even before we had pictures and video about it. See, this is knowledge, okay? We are gaining knowledge about the place that we live, right? But there has been absolutely no true science done for the flat Earth model. They simply don't have it. True science confirms a globe and the non-existence of a flat Earth, okay? How can one complete the scientific method that I just read you using the flat Earth model when you plainly didn't create a flat Earth, okay? You can't study something that he didn't create. You can't study something that doesn't exist, and he created everything that exists, right? So belief in the flat Earth requires one to reject true science. Did you hear me? So belief in the flat Earth model requires you to reject true science. Even if science proves a globe, right in front of their eyes, a flat earther will blame everything on atmospheric conditions. I did my research. This is primarily what they blame everything on. When they can't explain something, it's atmospheric conditions, right? Or they say that we are in the middle of a CGI movie set. Or they just choose to believe their belief over reason and proof. I remember a couple videos back, the world is saying that truth is subjective. That it's subjective to the individual, whatever the individual wants, right? This is proof of it, all right? Does this really have to keep going on? This is complete insanity, people. People who believe this stuff have truly, really lost their minds. And I hope and pray that you are not one of them. And if you are tottering on the edge of this belief, I hope that I have given you a good swift kick in the pants to get back and reject this teaching. I know that I could probably give a bigger swift kick, but you know what? I'm being really out there. I'm just telling you exactly how it is, how I believe it is, and what I know to be true. So hopefully get back into truth, people. I'm going to say the fence is here. Get back in. Okay. Okay, so I have a great case in point here. So right after he witnessed a scientific experiment that proved there's a curve to the earth, one of the leading flat earth flatheads, Mark Sargent, a failed pro gamer now making his fortune off of people's ignorance of this resurrected flat earth movement, said in his interview with National Geographic, quote, I'm quoting him now, "Science had its chance and they're not putting up any defenses." Absolutely delusional. They had just done it. He had just been there on the beach and he witnessed it with his own eyes. The people that were present, and there was a lot, witnessed it. That's like trying to talk to someone who has chosen to wear the mask about the fact that the mask doesn't protect you from the virus, right? That in fact, wearing the mask causes more harm than good. But for someone who has already bought the lie and decided what truth is to them, they won't be able to allow the facts to change their behavior. They are happy to stay in their little lie and have one lie piled on top of the other, on top of the other. So now we got a double mask, then we got to still stay 6 feet away, and we got to get that, it's a medical device implant in you, that's killing people right and left. So it's completely irrational. It's completely insane. I feel like it's the same thing. If Isaac and I wanted to talk to friends who had already swallowed the flat earth pill, it happens all the time with people who want to stay in their man-made religion of choice, right? As Isaac, and you know what, this flat earth kind of thing, it's almost a religion. It feels like almost a religion. In fact, I ran across just recently that there is a church now, a flat earth church. It is becoming a religion. So it's by a dude named Gordon. I can't remember his first name, but Isaac always says something that just sometimes irritates me, and other times I'm like, oh, you're so right. But Isaac says, you know what, Rebekah, they'll believe whatever they want to believe. Walk away, girlfriend. So it's hard to do because for me, I think that logic and proof and showing, the truth and everything should make someone, it should be enough. The evidence should be enough to change somebody's mind. But, Isaac is right a lot of times about this, in that people just, they want to believe whatever they want to believe. So somebody who wants to believe in flat earth, you're looking at me going, screw you, Rebekah, it's not true. And you're going to believe whatever you want to believe, no matter what kind of proof I give, okay? So I want to point out that when a flat earther thinks that they are the ones who have the truth and that we don't anymore, that could just be, that could be a real fool's tug of war. And I think that's what Isaac is saying to me a lot of times, is like, they're going to believe what they want to believe. So just don't be a fool yourself and do a tug of war with somebody like that. to believe in flat earth requires one to reject all wisdom, all understanding, and all knowledge, as I've said before. You also have to reject and give up your all rationale and completely deny true science and what is actually observable with your own eyes in favor of believing a lie. Did you catch that? So one of the biggest problems with flat earth is that you have to reject wisdom, understanding, knowledge, all rationale, and completely deny true science and what is actually observable with your own eye, with your own eyes, in favor of a lie. Okay, so let's look at the definition of fairy tale. I don't know if you've really looked at that before. So my girls, when they grew up, they love fairy tales. In fact, I've even called, this story that we're living in the most epic fairy tale, because it's going to end up in the happily ever after. And when I'm saying fairy tale, I'm thinking, Cinderella getting to the happily ever after. That's what I'm thinking. But in all reality, there is a definition for fairy tale, and it goes like this. It's a children's story about magical and imaginary beings and lands. It's a fabricated story, especially one intended to deceive. Intended to deceive. Wow. Okay, so I never looked at that word like that before. So when we've used that word in our home to describe something that we long for, I didn't have that in my view, but now I do. But listen to that. Fairy tale is a fabricated story, especially one intended to deceive. So we know that there are many, many myths that have, and stories that have floating cities or worlds in the sky that look similar to the drawings made by flat earthers. We can't go think that the world looks like a fairy tale image or a creation or a fairy tale world that came straight out of paganism or straight out of something that the world created, right, as intended to deceive. What seems to be a common thread right now in the world is that everyone is actually losing their minds, right? That's what it feels like. I walk past people and I'm like, where did your brain go? Like, I can't believe that they're doing what they're doing. I can't believe that you have this big strapping dude walking down the street with no one around wearing this mask on a 110-degree day. Like, hello? Like, where'd your brain go, right? So I feel like everyone's losing their minds, and I bet you feel the same way when you look around the world today, and hopefully you're not one of them. But remember what Yeshua said, that there would be worldwide instability? Yeah, he said there'd be worldwide instability. So I don't think he was just talking about instability as far as like nature groaning or unstable governments and stuff, but I bet he also meant worldwide instability of the mind. Yeah, instability of the mind. I feel like it topped the charts in 2020, and it's continuing this year in 2021. So humanity in general seems to have lost a sound mind. So in 2 Timothy 1:7, it says, "For Elohim has not given us a spirit of fear, but of power and of love and of a sound mind." If you don't have a sound mind, then Jehovah hasn't given you what you need. Okay, so if you have a sound mind, then this applies to you, right? So Ephesians 4:14-29 says, "Then we will no longer be infants, tossed back and forth by the waves and blown here and there by every wind of teaching and by the cunning and craftiness of people in their deceitful scheming." That sounds familiar. "Instead, speaking the truth in love, we will grow to become in every respect the mature body of him who is the head, that is Messiah. From him the whole body, joined and held together by every supporting ligament, grows and builds itself up in love as each part does its work." So I tell you this, and insist on it in Jehovah, that, because this verse continues on, that you must no longer live as the Gentiles do in the futility of their thinking. They are darkened in their understanding and separated from the life of Elohim because of the ignorance that is in them due to the hardening of their hearts. Therefore, each of you must put off falsehood and speak truthfully to your neighbor, your sister or brother in Messiah. For we are all members of one body, Do not let any unwholesome talk come out of your mouths, but only what is helpful for building others up according to their needs, that it may benefit those who listen. Wow, that is super cool. That is a great text to study and unpack. So please, I'm asking you to listen to reason. Otherwise, you will be an infant who is blown here and there by every wind of teaching and by the cunning and craftiness of people who scheme. If you let every wind of teaching blow you all over the place, you'll have instability of the mind. You will not have a sound mind. And he says that he can give you a sound mind, okay? And that his people actually will have a sound mind. So if you don't have a sound mind, you probably won't even know you won't have, you probably don't know that you don't have a sound mind. But I bet you anything, you know, as we look around at people, and we can determine whether they have a sound mind or not. And this is one of them. Like somebody who buys into flat earth nonsense does not have a sound mind. Not at all, because they're rejecting, you know, true science. They're rejecting what their eyes see. They're rejecting so much. It's crazy that what they have to lay down in order to accept this lie. So
this is it. Okay, we'll take the measurements in 3, 2, 1, now. I've got I just measured my shadow, and mine was 66.1 centimeters. And then I called Casey, and his was 70.0 centimeters, which means that our shadows are 3.9 centimeters different. Mine is 3.9 centimeters smaller than his is in Regina, which means that the Earth is a sphere, and it means that I can calculate the size of the Earth.
So my family and I have actually heard from people's own mouths tales of when they were a child that they had thoughts that the Earth was flat. And they'd express this thought, and then they were ridiculed by thinking for this thought, right? In their mind, because they endured persecution or people telling them that it was not so, that then they would continue on to say that angels came to them to say that no, you're not crazy, but you're right? And all I want to say is my skin crawled, and I was like, okay, that's creepy. Right? So no sound mind there, probably from infancy, childhood, something happened, I don't know, but no sound mind there. And now that this conspiracy has come out in the open since 2017, remember Flat Earth kind of has exploded since 2017, these same people are now finding permission to come out of the closet per se, right? And as they come out of the closet, they are toting Torah at the same time. I'm not speaking to the pagan world. I'm speaking to the believers. I'm speaking to the body of Messiah, of Yeshua HaMashiach. This is who I'm concerned about. I'm not concerned about the pagans, okay? This coming out of the closet thing with the flat earth idea and living it, teaching it, talking about it, and toting Torah at the same time, that's the problem. I have to admit that not too long ago, I might have said, oh, everyone's on their own journey to finding the narrow path or to finding the truth, right? But actually, after I've done this video, this study for this series, I think that I need to be more careful when I say this to people. I'm not sure I've always been as bold and brave as I should be, actually. I think I have camped out on the individual's journey in order to avoid the debate, because I and my family know that you can't have a rational conversation with people that believe this nonsense, because this nonsense isn't rational. Flat Earth is not rational. So anyone who's bought into it, you can't have a rational conversation with. And I didn't really want that debate. I didn't want that, hot conversation, and I didn't want to lose friends. So I'd say, oh, everyone's on a journey or whatnot. But you know what? I think I'm going to be more bold, and I'm not going to do that anymore. So may Jehovah bless you with clarity, and may he rescue you from this lie. All right, so today we talked about critical thinking and how important it is to teach that to our children, as well as we need to learn how to be critical have critical thought when we look at the nature as well as what he's asking us to do. We also talked about science, two different kinds. One is ad hoc pseudoscience, which is totally baloney, baloney science. It's not science at all. And true science. We also talked about this completely unfathomable fairy tale and saw what the scripture says about a sound mind and about how to, no longer live as the Gentiles do in futile thinking. Okay, so stay tuned for part 5, where I'm going to talk about 18 flat earth fallacies and conspiracies. So I'm going to try to break this down, and we're going to actually get into detail here about what flat earthers believe, in case you don't know what they believe, or in case you are needing me to help you see the ridiculousness of the whole thing. Okay, so don't forget to like and subscribe and hit that bell, and go get on our email list, and go join the ladies group, and go join the youth group, and go buy something from our store and some DVDs and whatnot, and support us financially through PayPal or Cash App. Okay, and you have a great day, and I'll see you at the next part. Shalom. I'm rolling? Okay, thanks. Oh. So stupid.
Yes, it is.
All right. It's not stupid to take down a lie, though. That's for sure. Okay. That's hard to do at the same time.